Greetings all. You are live here with Cicely. I'm representing New African Image Makers, and you are on the From Seed to Systems podcast. Thank you for joining me. Today we have a very interesting show planned. As you can see, I'm in a new state of mind, new area or whatever. We're still working on that housing piece. Pray for us. I can say that part. I'd like to take my time with this particular show. This is a very important show because I have one of what I like to say is a founding member of New African Image Makers joining me today. And that's none other than my daughter, Noelani Pierce. She's here for a special reason. I mean, obviously she's special, but she brought a project to me recently that her and her partner in art came up with, a solution that I think we all want to know more about. How can we illustrate the importance of the land and the resources that it provides for us as African people? How can we assert ourselves in this global economy that is looking to continuously extract whatever they can extract from us, and we're left holding pieces? So we're going to take a deep dive today. So those of you who are joining us today, hey, put on your seatbelts. I have none other than Noelani herself is going to be coming in. We have all kinds of on-the-ground information and reports that we're bringing you. You're not going to hear this anywhere else. And once you hear it, we really intend on this segment to have some major impact in what we're doing as far as this film and what we're doing as far as the message that we absolutely can get a hold of the value chain as it relates to us and insert ourselves as free and active citizens of the world, and show ourselves that we can control our resources, not only our people, but the products that we create, as well as whatsoever comes from the land, especially as it relates to Mother Africa. So let me go ahead and hit an intro real quick. And then we are going to just start diving right into it.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
Okay, so we are back and we are happy. So look, I know I didn't really tell you this, but yes, turn it on. More light, more better. That's better. So I didn't really tell you this, but yeah, you go live too. Live. Everybody share this video. This is about to be heated. You see my daughter and her get up, you know what I'm saying? She got her war paint and everything. She ready for whatever, and I love it. So, and that's why I got her. Okay, come on, y'all. So look, Noe, I want to introduce the topic of shea butter, but before I get into that, I want to talk about you. Yeah, can we start off like that? Can we start off talking about why of why y'all talking to us? Why are they looking at us? Why are they listening to us? You know what I'm saying? And so I got a couple things that I put together in the background that I want to bring to the forefront of everything. You know what I'm saying? Let me go back, because this this picture right here, um, this is our thumbnail for the show. When I was putting this show together, I literally, I've been going through so much personally with the housing and just different things going on. When I pull this picture up on my computer, it instantly brightened up my day, my outlook, everything. And I told my daughter, that's the effect, that's the Noe effect, you know. And I appreciate her so much for that. So I put together like literally a ton of pictures to illustrate who she is as a daughter, as an artist, as a producer, as somebody who even made this cup that I'm gonna be drinking my water from. I mean, sometimes people be like, "Oh, you just do everything," and then here come my daughter. Ooh, so it's the proof. The proof is in the pudding, and here's the pudding right here. Yes, yes. So, all right. So this is not only gonna be a war cry what we're sounding today, but it's gonna be a love fest too. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the why for the war right here. Um, so I wanted to go back. I had a picture of that. That's just that to me. I just think it's fundamental that I bring that image into this conversation. Um, no, that's not it. Well, that's one of them. Well, here's one. Just give you an example. Yeah, one example. A lot of people want to have asked me, about my interest in shea butter and this type of thing. Um, so this paints the picture right here. This is Noe at about 6, 7 years old, with none other than Samia and Nkrumah. If you don't know, Kwame Nkrumah's daughter, none other than Mother Saruzai Sevenhu, who Noe actually, when she did school projects growing up and matriculating through school, she did projects on living legends that she was able to grow up with, matriculate with, sit under, learn. In her later teenage to interview Mama Saru, her autobiography. We love to have more contact with Samia and Nkrumah, and we look forward to whatever work we can do to support the work that she's doing. If you don't know who these people are, just a small Google search, you'll turn up Mama Saru's book or autobiography, and you will turn up Samia and Nkrumah and the work that she's doing to continue her father's legacy. Noe is a part of that. Noe is not a side note. Noe grew up in that environment. These are the people that she grew up with, listening to and learning about, and that's her firsthand experience. Now, what she's been able to do with that is, basically translate that love and that knowledge, that understanding into other things. She's a filmmaker. Why is it coming up? Yeah, push the other one in. We ain't doing it today. We did it good today. Segue into her current. Let's do it like this. We glitch. Hey, look, Noe got her. She's live on TikTok at the same time as we're doing this. So we had some technical difficulties. We're back, and she was doing a little dance talking about she's the intermission for TikTok. So the TikTok is a different world from where we at. We ain't got all the way there yet. But anyway, the point I was making before we so rudely interrupt our media disappeared was that Noelani has had a chance to rub elbows and sit at the feet of the elders all her life. Period. You know what I'm saying? So I her name. She brought this project to me. I immediately, on the strength of the quality and the level of everything that she does when she does it, um, I gave it some serious thought, and I jumped right on it, and it was right on time because we've been working every angle of this Shea Butter piece. We've been working every angle of this Shea Butter piece, and now we are coming to announce a really big project, which is a documentary around the story of Shea. And I'm very, very, very happy to be working with Noe and her partner in art, Jawai, to create this masterpiece. So this is a documentary that is very near and dear to us. Case in point, just time and time again, you will see Noe with some of our great heroes and sheroes. She's had a chance to interview a lot of these people herself. And so this is with the great late Baba Runako Rashidi, who is a foremost African historian who traveled almost every country in the world documenting the African presence. And this is none other than the Freedom Home Academy School space and fundraiser. We've supported that institution for years, even before my students even had a chance to be students there. And this was one of their fundraisers. Babu Nako was in town to support them, and he gave a lecture there, and it was top tier. If you follow me on Twitter, I told a very funny story about this lecture. Won't go into it today, but hilarious, always working with Noe. So I just wanted to establish that so you could know, really a little bit more about who she is, what she does, where she's been, and basically how she gets down and why, when she talks, I listen. This is not just my daughter, this is my number one advisor. Here, Noe is with none other than the Chicago Zulu Nation, Lord Cassius D, as well as I see that guy, the Grammy Award winning dude right there, Imani right there, Mello right there. Yeah, but I'm just giving. I don't want to name drop. All I'm saying is that this is, and I wanted her to know and my audience to know a little bit of the background about how we work together, why we work together, and the type of just excellent imagery, art, films, and everything that we've been able to produce. So this is one of the current films that Noe completed that ended up winning a National Film Award in Ghana. That was part of the 48-hour film competition, along with her partner in art, Jawai, who is a previous guest on the show too. So honestly, I really wanted to spend the first segment really just talking about you, what you mean to us as a family, as a community. You could see throughout these pictures, she's right there, supporting fundraisers, supporting the Zulu Nation and the work that they do with the youth, bringing everybody together for Hip Hop for Peace Month. She's in Ghana, doing her thing, representing the country, representing the Black folks internationally at an international film festival. So this is, I really want to spend some time big up in you, And I know that's not where the conversation started with us about this, but sometimes you have to be reminded of the who and the why. You know what I'm saying? Who you is and why you is. And it ain't just because of me. It's all these people, that's been around us, that we've been around. And this is a young lady who, if you look through our family pictures, she's one of the people that's constantly bringing our family together. And I don't have to tell my audience how difficult that is in today's climate. It's not easy. This is Noe with what I like to call the Betty Shabazz contingent, from, she matriculated through the Black schools, and here to this day, you can see that they're close and they're still working together. A lot of these young folks are PhD students, artists, business owners. Iron sharpens iron. You know what I'm saying? And you've been around iron all your life. Real talk. You've been around iron all your life, and you sharp, and you one of the sharpest instruments in our toolkit as a community. And I want everybody to know that. So when we engage this conversation about shea butter, the fire that's going to come out, it have to come out, because we working with iron on iron right here. That's what we represent today. Okay. So got to know that, you know what I'm saying? Now, how you want to segue into the topic of shea butter? Should we take a break and then hop back into it?
You talk about click chicks. That's like a big part of the production.
Okay. All right. So let me pull up that video.
I was just explain.
Come on.
Okay, so
you say your thing.
I've been moving through production since I was a child, seeing that my mom is.
Yes, we just welcome.
Sorry. It's just setting that up.
I've been moving through production in various ways since I was a youth, seeing that my mom has always worked in media production, and media decoding, understanding how propaganda has been used over time to condition our minds as people. That has always inspired me to create original content that is a reflection of my experience and is a reflection of what I know to be true, in this lifetime. Given that space, I've gone through it in various ways. So my mom did mention me and Jawai being collaborative partners in production. We've done 2 short films together, and that is not the end of that. We'll continue to create art together. And then moving into where I am today with my production, I have a group a business with 3 other people called Click Chicks. Click Chicks is for us by us, and basically it's us putting out the type of media we want, putting out the type of narrative, showing and documenting our lives, creating bits, creating joy, creating community around positivity, around love, around culture, around care. With that being said, one of our segments of Click Chicks is called Cute Juice. We have a little bit of a little preview of that. With that, and we're not limited to Cute Juice, but it is a function of us. We will be coming out with a whole series, something very similar to like a Saturday Night Live. It's a skit form, but we've been working on this for a year, and this is just a preview of what is to come from Click Chicks. Click Chicks is going to be the wind under my wings when it comes to tackling this next production with my mom, because this is my team that I've created. They're my business partners and they're my friends. So I hope you guys enjoy this little segment, this little bit that we created.
Yes, we just welcome. Yeah. Who squeezed it? Who squeezed it?
We all did. I kind of broke the machine, so not really me. Yeah, Anthony did not squeeze it.
We are currently setting up for Cute Juice. Everything's going amazing. Everything's perfect.
Cute, juice. Bringing people happiness, being cute, and feeding them juice. It's for the people. Free juice, freshly squeezed by beautiful hands. And it's as simple as that. Simply cute.
Cute Juice Fashion, it's loud, it's cute, and it represents us.
We are Quick Chicks, and this is Cute Juice! Whoa!
Yeah, so that was cute. Apropos, I love the whole concept. I love how you guys are building on yourself and moving that into media. And it does make you smile. It does make you feel good. If you experience it in person, I'm sure it's even more good. But even just watching the video, all I do every time I see it is just smile and laugh. So, that's part of it too. So we talked about the film stuff. We talked about the background. Now let's take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back and dive into the topic of shea butter. And this industry is being overtaken as we speak, just like so many other industries and resources have been by multinationals and outsiders. And we're gonna converge on that conversation when we get back, just from this quick little break.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
But I think the New African with a K on YouTube is probably the best place. Okay, we are back. Right. We are back. So now that we've established that, let me read my little notes because I thought it was pretty good. This episode is about connection. We're looking at the shea butter industry and the women who hold its roots. We're going to hear a call directly from a sister in Ghana. We'll be putting that video up in a couple of minutes. And she's going to be talking about, we're going to hear a call for help from her directly. We're going to hear that in just a couple of minutes. And then we'll share our vision. We're going to share our vision of what the solutions look like, which is going to include this documentary that we're working on. That's part of it. But this podcast is about building systems. And that's just our story. So let's just get into it, Noe. We've already done the opening and introduction video. How am I? Yeah. Let's watch this, guys, because I think that sets up a backdrop to where we.
At risk of losing authentic.
Africa is at risk of losing authentic shea butter forever? Right now, there are big companies who are buying our shea nuts in bulk, shipping them abroad and producing cheap, low quality shea butter. Whilst the women who have made shea butter for generations lose their work, their income, and our legacy. Now, when the nuts leave, our women cannot produce, communities lose their income, and our heritage is erased. Now, shea butter isn't just a product, it is Africa's gold. It is used in lipstick, lotions, soap, you name it. The beauty industry loves it because it's an emulsifier. It keeps all their chemicals and scents together as if it was natural. The world uses shea butter daily, and right now, our women are being pushed aside. Now, I refuse to let Africa's legacy be erased. This is why I built the Shea Butter Museum, to preserve, produce, and share authentic shea butter with the world. If you believe in legacy, if you believe in women power, and if you believe in African heritage, comment legacy below and let's build this movement together. It is serious, kings and queens. This is serious.
Okay, so that's our shift. What we didn't get a chance to build up is why are we interested in shea butter? And I'd like to share a little bit of a story about that. We came into contact with shea butter decades ago, and it was on the back of olive oil, which is another natural oil that my family has used for generations for our skin and hair. And my mother told me about it. And the way she introduced it to me, she said, that is what your grandmother used on her children. And that is why their skin is so beautiful. And the proof is in the pudding. And that part, I thought about my aunts and uncles and I said, that's true. They all do have really nice skin. And so as a young, woman, I think I was even a teenager, I started using olive oil on my skin. By the time I had Noe, she had developed some little rash here, and I took her to the doctor because, new moms, we stay at the doctors with our kids because we don't know nothing else in the way the environment is right now. You're not really surrounded by community. So you ask who's there to ask. And I asked the doctor about, and she asked me what I was using on it. I said shea butter. And she said, oh, well, that's a little heavy. I said, yeah, that's why I mix it with olive oil. And then she goes, oh, yeah. I said, yeah, I know what I'm doing with that. So that was the beginning of something. And the story in our family goes, my mother says that Noe developed her first product when she was 2 years old. And so she continued on from the age of 2, developing this product. And that has taken her some places. She's on the AC Green show. You can see here, that's probably like a 7 million people audience as a teenager talking about the development of this shea butter product that she used with all natural ingredients. She's always kept that commitment to just doing it the natural way. I think this is her with the product at the Black Women's Expo. She was one of the youngest entrepreneurs there at that time, and you can see her banner in the background, Noe's Naturals. We call it Noe's Naturals by Noe, either way. But this is a substance that Noe has been working with for a very long time. And we had the connection through my marriage that said, let's go to Ghana and meet the people who actually, really, let's get closer to it. Let's get closer to the source of the shea butter. So that took us on a long journey that we're still on today. And now watching multinationals come in and try to trash shea butter, that puts us at the losing end in two ways. Number one, it takes the wealth from the women on the ground. And number two, it takes away our access to health, and this is part of what this documentary is bringing to light. shea butter trees can be over 400 years old. And I like to say the trees remember us. The land remembers us, and it knows what we need. So how dare we sit around and sit on our hands while multinationals come in and bastardize this beautiful product? And one thing I want my daughter to go into is that we've seen that story play out before. Yeah. In terms of we could substitute.
Oh yeah. Extraction is a conceptual thing, and I think the West has been. I'm getting shy. I can't do it.
You feeling shy?
No, because
because of
distraction.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Catch us on live.
Okay, so distractions.
No, so let me set you up again. Okay, so here's the issue. Hamama just set it up. Multinationals are combing through West Africa, the savannas, trying to pick up all the shea nut that the women there and their collectives have gathered. And traditionally, the women would, chop it, cut it, ferment it, mix it, and do everything by hand and create this, what we like to call is grade A shea butter. And that is medicinal. When it's in its good form, you can eat it. It's good for skin, and it's good for medicine as well. Okay, now, what Noe pointed out to me earlier is that we with our audience, we need to talk about the fact that if we talk about extraction and exploitation, we could substitute cocoa for shea butter, or coltan.
Yes, you can substitute you can substitute for gold, you can substitute it for all the abundant resources that we are only able to source from Africa. And the thing about that is if Africa continues to be so rich in resources, why are they continuously devastated and put in positions of destabilization? And the reason why they're constantly put in a space and a state of destabilization is so that the West can continue to extract with no true reparation, with no true reciprocity. You know what I mean? So you understand the value of what we have to offer, but you don't want to give up what that value is. You know what I mean? You don't want to see us actually hold that value. And I think that piece is one of the most important pieces, that we have something, we continue to create something on the land that is beneficial for not just us, but for the world. And that when you understand that value and you understand that value for yourself and you hold it, you move different. And so this brings us back to the conversation of the documentary. Why? Because the narratives we tell around our stories and the way we tell our history is so important to the way we feel empowered. And I think it's important for us to feel empowered to know that we have value. We have value and we deserve to hold that value. We don't need someone else to come in and exploit it and take everything and throw us a couple pennies. This is something that should be grounded and rooted in the continent, and the people closest to it should be receiving the proper reverence, the proper support, the proper care, the proper consideration, and the proper payment restitution for that connection. You know, they continue to show up and do the work and the labor while people come in and extract it. And when you understand the shea nut, it takes 50 years for a shea tree to produce a shea nut. What does that tell you? That somebody had to have the mind before you to plant a tree that they in their own lifetime may not see the fruit of, but you yourself have. This is ancestral. This is lineage. This is our inheritance. This is legacy. And so when you understand that, it's important for us to have some type of empowerment. Like, no, you just can't come in and just take what we have to offer and throw us whatever you have at the end. We need to be at the forefront of that process. We need to be defining the ethics of that process and maintaining the ancestral knowledge that is so deeply ingrained to Shea. So that's what I had to say.
That's it in a nutshell right there. If you don't know, or I'll dip back into where we come in on that at, is we've been involved in just grassroots farm, what do we call it? I don't want to call it agricultural development to some extent. I don't want to use development and let people run away with that in the wrong direction. What we mean by that is just creating access for the consumer as well as for the farmer, access to appropriate reciprocal monetary relationships and trade, as well as access to nutrient dense foods. We've been deeply ingrained in that work here in the US as well as in Africa, creating markets, creating factories. New African Image Makers was a sponsor at one of the first cannabis conferences. We do that type of stuff because we feel the sense of agency. We know that we have to assert ourselves and be responsible for how things are moving around that are related to us, So this is not something new. No, I think Noe was raised in a healthy food hub, which is was a market here in Chicago for over 10 years, generating millions of dollars in our small community. And I like to say that market was only a shadow of what it could have been had we bought into the mission and to the vision of what it came to do and what it could actually do. But that's kind of what brought us to doing this documentary, because normally this is not work we talk about out loud. This is the stuff we do that we don't promote. You don't see us, just going around talking about all of the stuff that's going on in our background. But we found that we're pitching this idea. We let's bring the trade through. We using this product. We love this product and we need this product, right? So let's bring the trade on through and let's distribute it to our, to our retail people and to our healers and to our communities. Let's do it that way. We're going to, city planners, developers, big time investors. And I feel like, honestly, I'm not saying they didn't take us serious, because this topic is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's on the back of a multi-trillion-dollar wellness industry. So it's something to be serious about. No one's saying that. But I just think that when it comes to African women and our ideas and our priorities as we're pushing them forth, sometimes people tend to push us into the microloan category. And we're done with microloan for that as far as that's concerned. The cat is out the bag with Shea Butter. We can't microloan this. If we want to assert ourselves in that value chain, we have to get in right now and do what we are supposed to do to have autonomy and agency in that industry. And so we couldn't do it through funders. It wasn't working. And Noe was like, I think you should make a film. And I'm like, you know what? Let's take it to the people. Let's dig deep into the issue. Let's illustrate it. Let's bring the stories out from the land, from the women that's actually collecting these nuts. Let's bring it all the way back over here. I don't know if you want to tell the story about the little girl who was itching from head to toe with the eczema thing. Let's bring it all the way back over here and tell those stories of how this environment in the U.S. causes our health to suffer and how Shea Butter brings us relief. Let's bring that story, all those stories together, and put this documentary out there so that people can understand what they're buying, who they're buying it for, and let's put ourselves at the forefront of saying, this is grade A Shea Butter. that we approve of, from sources that have been paid for what they produce. And this shea butter can actually help you with some of the challenge that you're having. So let's assert ourselves in that process, and let's do this film. And that's where that comes from.
And I think the film, to me, was really important in terms of setting a tone to the conversation and the way we want to talk around this. I think some people miss the ancestral reverence aspect of it, right, and the importance of maintaining like these this legacy, but also having there's a reason why people process it the way they process it. So coming in with these big machines and thinking that for some reason you were smarter than the last man that did, you were smarter than the ones that came before. To me, that is that could be a little bit a function of the ego, and that's a little bit a function of human error. I think that things exist the way they do for a reason, and it's important for us to understand why. And so with this documentary, we want to show why Shea is so important there. What is the root of it? Where did it come from? Why do they process it the way they do? What are the rituals surrounding it? What is the energy, and how that translate from there to here? You know, so it's connecting the diaspora piece, you know what I mean? Because we've never truly forgot home, you know?
That's
and
right.
So there's so many ways that we can activate ourselves to come back into union with what we know to be true within, you know, our subconscious, I would say, you know, within our bloodlines, things that need to be activated. And this is just opening up a conversation. It's a dialogue, if anything. And it's not the end. The documentary was never will be the end, but it's a very, very powerful beginning, you know, a way to just set the tone and to show that we don't need to outsource. We don't need big conglomerates to come in and take hold of this thing. We need to hold it for ourselves, and it's very important for us to understand why we need to hold it for ourselves, why this industry is something that we should not continue to outsource to big pharma, to mass produced beauty and skincare industry. It's a reason why this is something that needs to be as close to the ground and as close to the beginning as it could ever be. And that this documentary is just here to continue to push that dialogue and to give us a real visual example so that people in real time can understand these connections that right now maybe you hear us talk about it, but you may not be able to see it. And we want to show the significance of that. So I think, we can benefit a lot from this conversation. I think that people have come in. Shea butter has been around. I know you can go to this beauty supply and you think that's some good shea butter. You know, you think you're doing something. But the truth of the matter is, when we are not at the head of our systems and our resources, our products, they can lose value because people who don't have that same mind, care, consideration, or regard for what we create start to cut corners in ways that the original will never do. So a lot of the shea butter that we have access to here in the West and a lot of different other places is mid-grade, cut down, distorted. Yes.
Bleached.
Yes. So these things come in and, you know, at the end of the day, they have been used to what could have been good for us. Because when we're talking about real good shea butter, you could cook with shea butter.
That's right.
You can eat it. You know what I mean? And so it should be able to be, you put it on your arm right here. My mom always tell a story of how she was showing people the difference between what they usually get other places and what we are showing to know and we know to be true. You put it right here on your arm and it just glide down. It don't need to be whipped because it's already that creamy, that buttery. And a lot of times the shea butter that you might find at like the beauty supply or a lot of other places that are not as concerned for the complete system of Shea and the complete reverence for Shea, a lot of people don't understand that those people don't have any care or regard for where it comes from, you know, and we have to be mindful that we're not buying back something that we already have access to, you know, at a lower rate, at a lower quality, you know. So that's just something to be mindful of when we're talking about this conversation. Yeah.
So we got a couple of comments I like to bring in. One from Queen V, saying, reminding ourselves as women healers the meaning of the word sacredness and when and where it must be applied. That is a word. That's what the queen part represents when you make a statement right there. Thank you, V, for that, because that's essentially what we're talking about. Now we trying to bring it to a commercial space, you know what I'm saying, raising money and, you know, and filming and creating this product. But at the end of the day, we got to know why we're doing this. You know, we're doing this because our land and our labor is sacred, and it's time that we start making a statement to make sure that we stand on that, because it's that serious. Now we got another comment here. This from my big cousin. They use it in all cultures now because we share everything in social media. You know what? Right. Because like, who knew about shea butter at first, right? But at the same time, now that they put it out there, we can't hide no more. Me and Noe can't do our thing in the darkness and, you know, behind the scenes. As much as we like to be in front of the camera, not as much as you would think. You know what I'm saying? I don't think neither one of us, but we find ourselves here talking about this out loud because the big guys then got a hold to things, and now we need more hands on deck to deal with it. So that brings us to a $80,000 to $100,000 film project, which we like to say is going to take us some places, because not only are we going to be showing the stories of the, you know, of the eczema and the asthma and the chronic coughs and stuff like that, and what shea butter can do for that here. We're also going to be traveling to Ghana, filming with the women's cooperatives there. We're going to be in Sierra Leone, hopefully in conjunction with one of the farms there, which is Ram. Trying to look for the person's name. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I'll find it, and when I do, I'm going to tell y'all about it, because this sister is running a 9,000 acre rice farm in Sierra Leone, and we want to talk about it.
Yeah. So I think that we're equipped to tell this story because this is something that we have personal experience with. You know, we have a personal relationship with Ghana, and we're inspired, you know. And I think that when God gives you a vision, it's for you to see it through. And I feel that I've been given this idea, and I think it's really important. And I may not even grasp how important past, you know, my limited small thought right here in my brain, but I feel it, and I feel the significance of a project like this. And I know that it is going to impact people in ways I could never imagine. I think it's really important for us to get ahead of telling our own narratives. And I think it's important for us to tell a holistic story. I think a lot of people miss, like I said, the spiritual, ancestral part of it. And they just see Shea as, you know, just as a product in itself.
That's
but
right.
It's not just a product. You know, it's also so much more. And it's important for us to understand that as well. I think that I've been immersing myself in media development since a youth, in that we're not going in there guns blazing, big huge cameras and putting them in people's faces. We're going to do this in a way that's in respect for people's privacy, for people's time, and with really, really, really deep care for the space. So I'm really excited to embark on this project with my mom. I'm really excited to utilize the resources from Click Chicks and from new African image makers to continue to push our stories that we want to tell, to continue to push our narratives, and continue to create positive media that is centered around empowering us, empowering our capacity to know that we can, and at the end and at the middle of that, it's always that piece for me to know that you can be all that you imagine, because we come from people who thought to plant trees that wouldn't even bear fruit 50 years until 50 years, right?
I don't even think they planted them, because like we had recently, somebody brought a producer, a Shea Butter product producer to us for us to basically consult with or whatever, and possibly supply them with grade A Shea Butter, right? And I listened to the person, and she was talking about, well, we're considering, a Shea Butter farm and a Shea Butter processing facility. And then I was like, slow down, because we got to, if you know the tree, then the tree is where it is. You know what I'm saying? The tree grows where it grows. The land gave us that like a gift. There is no Shea Butter farm. any fruit that takes 50 years to mature, ain't nobody trying to make that investment. You know what I'm saying? Unless we are doing it for the legacy of our children, and we have that in mind. See, that's where the sacred part of it comes in at. So the Shea tree is a song and a dance between African people and the land. That's what the Shea tree represents. And when I say the Shea tree remembers us in the diaspora, I say that because some of the trees are well over 400 years old. Come on now. You think this tree don't know what we need wherever we are on this earth? And it's not going to give it to us? But if we allow a middle person to come in and, mess up the communication, then what, you know what I'm saying? So I think that, sacredness, reverence, these are not commercial terms, but we want you to segue that, those into donations. This podcast is kind of like our chance to announce the work that we're doing, to dive deeper in it. We welcome opportunities to talk more about this. Both Noe and myself, or either of us, or I consider Noe the voice of the next generation. And she's not too far off from becoming an expert on the topic. So, we invite you to bring us in to your groups, all of them, your colleges, wherever you are, to talk more about this and how we can put ourselves in the driver's seat, because it's time for Africans to take the offensive. And I'm happy to be, running point, for my daughter as a leader of the next generation on that. We want you to segue that into sharing this particular video. This is a deep dive. We're not covering this in our usual time. We're going a little bit beyond that, because we want to make sure that in this video, we explain the inside and outside of Shea and how it relates. And you could transfer that to cocoa. Like I said, coltan, if you want to get real deep. And we want this video to be representative of that entire conversation, and we want to launch that Kickstarter within the next 2 weeks. So everybody who's coming on here and who's joining us today, we're definitely going to be sending you the link to share. and give us the opportunity to bring this topic, because I think the more people understand and know about it, the more they will want to get on board with what we're doing. My daughter is very quick to point out, we're not talking about Dubai Bugatti wealth. We're talking about the wealth of legacy, the wealth of freedom, the wealth of being able to provide and to thrive on this earth. And we demand that. We demand that. And we are working towards making sure that we have access to that, as well as anybody that we can touch, as far as I'm concerned. So,
it was a comment asking, are we taking people that might be interested in traveling and learning the overall experience? In terms of,
we would love to.
Yes, I would say in terms of just like creating the documentary itself, like that wouldn't be a tour. That would be like work. So I would be focused on curating, like in working on the film and creating the film. So I don't think I would bring anybody but my team and some of my team that's already on the ground in Ghana. I will be meeting them to do that work. But in terms of creating something where people feel comfortable engaging this community, getting closer to the source, I think that that's a conversation that definitely can be opened up through this process. And that can be done in a way that's in respect and ethical to the people who live there, outside of it being a zoo. I think that's something that I'm very, very conscious of, is not creating a market out of people's day-to-day lives. These are just human beings that exist in the space and have been existing in this space. And we just want to tell and help them tell this story and continue to, create a level of awareness around the topic. But I think the world is our oyster and opportunities are abundant. And there's so many ways I could even begin to envision how to create a space where people can get closer. I know there are, I think, Shea communities that do explicitly move off of tourism in the way where like you'll come and you can be immersed in the whole Shea experience. I know I've seen a couple people who create content around there, a couple of people who have like I would say compounds and villages.
There's the museum.
Yeah, like the Shea Museum. So there is a space for if you just want to see it in like an up close and personal type of way. But what we're trying to do is bring it right to your door. We're trying to bring it to your home, and, hopefully that does lead to more experiences. So, yeah.
We had another comment from Nana Yao in Ghana. Greetings from Ghana. What's up, Nana? Uncle Snoop. And thanks for sharing this with all your friends. Share it with them, Chanel Wood says, keep up the great work. I'll be in Ghana in December. I'm excited to hear more. Yes, we definitely want to talk more about this. We definitely want to talk more about it with people. Hey, look, we're not afraid to travel. And our people on the continent are not afraid of us, contrary to popular belief. So definitely what Big Cuz was saying in terms of traveling and looking into it more. There's so many other industries that we can look into, because we haven't even talked about cocoa butter, and cocoa butter is for the Black woman. Okay, cocoa butter is, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So the cocoa itself, and a lot of this stuff on the other end is in danger of being contaminated by extractive BS that's going on around the land in Ghana. So the more attention that we bring to this topic, the more we can safeguard it. You don't got to make this your last question. Let's keep them going. Yes, we are looking for investors. And let me tell you how we're doing this. Number one, the Kickstarter crowdfunding. That is a method by which you share your project with the wider community, the world, and ask them to bring in money. And we have tiers. They go from $25 all the way to $2,000 and up. At $25, that tier, we're putting you in the credits of this documentary, okay? So we want everybody to be a part of it, and we're making that accessible. Let everybody know that you took the time to learn about resources, natural resources, and how they're being used and moved throughout the earth, and that you stand with us on the side of making sure that we put our stake and assert ourselves and create agency around African people and resources and the way that they move around the earth and the way that we use them. That's number one. All the way through to the people who come in at the $2,000 level and above. My contribution to the plan is to say, look, we're not just going to do this film. We're going to use those top donations to help us create the Shea Butter Authority. We calling it the Shea Butter Authority loosely because let me tell you what that does. That creates an institution that we fund and we control. This institution will be the certifier, meaning that if you're using shea butter in any of your cosmetic products, if you're using shea butter in any of your medicines, if you are using shea butter on this earth and you did not get it through a certified method, and that means that we have made sure that you paid what you were supposed to pay, to who you were supposed to pay it to, and the product itself is not bastardized. So if you're saying to all three of those things, we want to give you our gold stamp to show your customers that you're paying attention, you're doing the correct thing when it comes to your commerce and the economy that you're creating. We are saying that no one else is the expert on African products outside of Africa. African people are the experts on what comes from the land that we are part of and where we came from. So that's number one. So yes, we are looking for investors. We are raising we're saying between $80,000 and $100,000 to complete this film and to sow the seeds for that authority. And make no mistake about it. Like my daughter said earlier, this is the beginning. This is not the end. So right now, this podcast is like we're building up to the Kickstarter. We wanted to have a place where we deep dive into this topic, talked a lot about it, answer all the questions that we possibly could. And, we can keep coming back to this. We're going to chop this video up. It's already on TikTok. We're going to chop it up and share it throughout all our media as we go out and unfolding this Kickstarter. So that's starting up pretty soon. Let's take this next 6 weeks, get this money, and let Noe and myself get started filming. We've already started lining up interviews here as well as on the continent in Sierra Leone, as well as Ghana. So we're doing as much as we can without your support. Now give us the support and let us do what we do, because we definitely can take this story to the next level, and we can take this industry to the next level by telling our story. So yeah, so that's the answer to that. Mama Naima is chiming in. This is powerful. Thank you for sharing information. Yeah, we need to know. And we on a need to know basis when it comes to what's going on the African continent, because as you can see, it reverberates back to us. No matter where we are. If you're using shea butter, you're using cosmetics, you're using these products, come on now. You're not gonna keep leaving us out of the story. So we're definitely gonna do that part. And
I think a big part of telling our story is so that we do not fall victim to erasure. And if we don't tell our story, somebody else will. And it's very important for us to be at the forefront of that conversation in so many ways. And like my mom said, this is really just the beginning, because the same documentary style can be done for so many different resources that are extracted from Africa, from Ghana, from indigenous people. And I think that investors, I think the Kickstarter will be a great way to get involved, to support our message, to support and just support ourselves, you know. So if you going to get the lottery every week, you know, I think it's okay for you to slide us a couple dollars for this project. Personally.
even if you're not, if you've seen the power of shea butter to help heal your skin or however you use it in your life, this is your time to chime in, because our ability to do that going forward is on the line right now as we speak. And I'm on that hill, and I'm putting my stake in the ground, and I'm drawing that line, and I'm asking people to join us in making sure that line is not crossed. Right now, those who are across that line, we had to come out and say it. We feel that with the community and the international global community and support that we have, we can stand to protect that line. And we need you guys to do it. I said something about bricks or something earlier. And you know, you got all these global formations. You got the WEF, you got BRICS, you got the IMF, you know, you got the World Bank. But this is the grassroots bank. Okay, this is the people that we are coming at, and make no mistake, we are the lion in the jungle, you know. And so if it has to be said publicly and out loud, we have skin in the game. We already got it, and we're making that case, and we're making it publicly. And it's you guys who are going to come in and make sure that we're able to stand and back that up with our victory and our success in this industry, which is only leading us to other industries. As my daughter said, shade could be a proxy for cocoa, cashew, gold, coltan. That's the big issue now. Everybody is saying, don't buy iPhone 17s. And I'm saying, yeah, that's true. And if you can take control of your resources, you should do so.
Yes.
You should do so. And that's what we are advocating. That's what we are advocating, because if we control it, then things roll out in a way that doesn't roll over us.
Yes.
Yeah.
There needs to be a level of care, consideration,
access,
and just humanity.
Yeah.
I think so much we've been stripped of our capacity to be considered as humans, honestly, in the treatment of African people, indigenous people around the world. And I think that there's a way for us to do business and trade and it be reciprocal. And I think we can't ask the person who's been stealing behind our back to, hey, can you not steal? No, we have to take the reins for ourselves. We have to say, hey, we putting this in place because this is how you can get access to us. This is how you can get support. This is how you can get, if you want what we have, it has to be on our terms, and knowing that we have the choice to do that. We don't have to just stand for people coming in and taking as much as they want, any way that they want, and leaving our land and our people devastated. We don't have to stand for that. And the only way we know that is by doing that and putting things in place so that it does not continue to happen. And this is just, an example, a small, minute example that you can blow it up really big or you could go real small. But this is our bid into that. And I think it's a great beginning. This is not our first documentary. We have documentaries we've done. We have the Pan-African mixtapes that me and my mom, that's an ongoing project that we've engaged. And we constantly find ways to understand, how do we empower our people in our voice? How do we empower our people in our voice? And I think that, saying it is one thing, but seeing that it's not just something we're saying, that there's literally roots in the ground here to show you your value, to show you that why you should be empowered. So I think that we're coming at it from a different way with this project. And I think that's really important. That can also, it'll wrap so many other things together. So yeah.
I love it. But yeah, that's like the long and the short for us. I wish we had more questions. Um, if we get feedback from people from this film, then I'm sure we can schedule another time to come on and do more questions about around shea butter, why it's so important. If you want to know more about our background and our work with shea butter and other materials, you know,
I think we'll come back on here and be talking about it even before we launch the
yeah,
Kickstarter. It's not. This is a conversation that we're serious about having, and I don't think that this won't be the last time you guys hear from me on here.
yeah.
We will come back and we'll continue to talk about it and continue to talk about it until, you know, you can just watch the documentary.
Yeah, and this is gonna be fast and I don't want to say dirty, but it's gonna be fast because we want to basically, this is shea butter season getting ready to start next month. And so what we're looking to do is, this is not something to put on the back burner. We want to document the current shea butter season, and then by next spring this film is out. We talking about it. We, you know what I'm saying, making preparations for going into the next season. So we're going to watch and see how this season goes and illustrate that for everybody so that you can see the play. And the play is currently is very nasty. It's just what Hamamat lined out in that short video we played earlier. You know, big companies are collecting all the nuts and they doing some kind of, you know, factory processing that's not giving us the soul of shea that we need for our healing, and it's not leaving the women who gathered those nuts in no type of better position. You know what I'm saying? So we can't just let anybody keep coming in stumping on our access to wealth, to legacy and our inheritance without us putting up, you know, some kind of organized effort to make sure that that does not happen. We have to stand up for ourselves. I think that's the fundamental right of every human being, and bringing that back, you know, to the topic of the hour, the topic of the day, and the topic of our lifetimes is humanity. And what does it mean to be a human? You know what I'm saying?
In relation to other humans.
Right. That's what humans are. They relate to other humans. You cannot be a human. We're not robots. And that's the lie that everybody has been told. You know, we were in the point of singularity. There's no singularity between a robot and a human. They'll never be the same because God created one. One was created by the universe, however you want to say it, and one was created by man. Okay, so we're not coming close to the creations that we were given. And there's no sense of playing with ourselves. We need to start acting like humans. We need to care. We need to care about ourselves. We need to care about the products we're buying, what we're using. We need to care about our health, because trust me, the transhumans are not caring. You know, they're doing this after hundreds of years. How do you look coming in with your little machines collecting shea nuts? It's ridiculous. We cannot do it. No. So stay tuned. Look forward to our Kickstarter announcement coming out in the next 2 weeks on the auspicious day of October 15th, maybe the 22nd. We'll weigh in on that. But 2 weeks, we coming strong, and we're ready to film, and we're ready to take this conversation into a greater sense of agency and access for African people and our resources. So we appreciate you all. I'm going to give us a good outro, and then stay in tune. Where is it at? Closing. Okay. Yeah. So thank you for joining us. Catch us. What's your TikTok?
My TikTok is _good_vibes with a 1 instead of an I and 2 S's.
We're gonna need some captions or something going on with this video. That was crazy. But anyway, hey, look, it ain't no harder than Cicely McClennan. Who can spell that? So but yeah, so we want to go ahead and stay in touch with you guys, stay in tune from Seed to Systems here on the Female Solution platform. who co-hosts along with New African Image Makers. And we thank you for your time and attention today. We thank you in advance for sharing this video, sharing this topic. Let's talk about it and let's be about it. And you guys have a great week.
Bye.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jaref. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.